Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Shamika. I'm a licensed massage therapist, small business entrepreneur, and rising herbalist. So this week, something big happened to me. I wanted to come on and share my experience in case anyone who follows my channel is like me that suffers from this same problem and is hoping to find a way of navigating through it and managing it. And the title of the video, of course, you probably already have an idea of what we're going to be covering, but let's just jump into the video. So as I shared in the intro, and as most of you know, I am a massage therapist. I have been working professionally as a licensed therapist for the past 2.5 years, and I absolutely love it. Just to give you a backstory, before I became a massage therapist, I was working at the bank for a while. I also worked in hospitality at a restaurant. What fueled my passion for working as a massage therapist was my mother. So not to get any type of sorry sob story going on, but my mom passed away over 10 years ago, and she was a nurse. And before she passed, I was graduating high school, and at first I was considering going to school for culinary arts. I wanted to be a chef. She didn't want me to do that. She wanted me to get into the healthcare industry. And, I had been to nursing homes with my mom, a few times to meet the staff that she worked with. And, she made a point to take me in to kind of show me what the environment was like, because I believe my mom saw something in me at a young age, and she wanted me to become a nurse. I didn't want to do nursing. Nothing against nursing. It just was something that I felt like I wasn't going to be good at, and I didn't have a passion in. A lot of the patients, whenever I would help her with the patients, I felt like I was hurting them. Nurses, they are very strong individuals, and they're so needed in the world, and just didn't feel like I was a good fit. So being a person that loves my mom, my mom is my best friend. I still considered healthcare, but I looked into alternative health. This was like my junior year in high school. I started doing research on different types of fields in healthcare and stumbled across alternative health and holistic health. And long story short, that's how I found massage therapy. Massage is such a helpful craft to have in the medical industry. That was the reason why I decided to take up massage therapy as the first entry level field, per se, in holistic health. I recently had an issue with a job opportunity that I have worked for this company before, and I worked there for a short period, left, went to a different location, and then as I was looking for another location, the previous location that I was working at reached out to me and asked me to work at another one of their spas not too far away from where I live. And because I was already looking, and because I just don't like being in the feeling of looking for a job when I know I need one, I went back, and I was very grateful that they reached back out to me, and I made sure I showed that. I think I went a little too overboard. I felt a little desperate. I also felt a little humbled at that point, because I have always been someone that just went with the flow. I've never challenged the system. I've never really said no to people. I'm not going to say I've never said no. I have said no, but when it comes to choosing myself and my values and my morals and my goals and you name it, over someone else's agenda or over someone else's need, I would usually neglect myself for them. And this week, I did not do that. So my employer asked me to do something that I knew I couldn't do. So just to kind of give you some details so you understand what I'm saying. The location that I was working for suffers from unprofessionalism, not intentionally from the owner. It's more of the staff that works for the owner. The staff there, I'm not going to say all of them because there are a handful that do not fit into this category. But there are a lot of staff members that work for this individual that does not care about their job. So much so that they do not do their jobs the way they're supposed to. And how that can pose a problem for people like me who actually does care about their career is when we come into work and we are doing our jobs the way we were trained to, not the way that we want them to, but the way that we were trained to match the brand of the company. It disturbs people who do not do that. And I honestly didn't expect to run into this issue in massage therapy. I could have had unrealistic expectations in the beginning, but the way I think about it is it requires money for you to become a licensed massage therapist. Not only do you have to pay for schooling and complete schooling, you have to pay for the state test to be licensed. And then you have to pay for continuing education classes in order for you to stay licensed. And depending on what state you're in, this varies. Licenses for you to take the test can range anywhere between $200 and $300 that you have to pay each time. If you fail it and you want to retake it, oftentimes you have to pay that $200 to $300 all over again. I took it 4 times. So that gives you an idea of how much I put into it in order for me to pass the state test. In order for you to remain licensed, you have to pay for continuing education classes. And depending again on the state where you're located, this varies. I know where I'm located, they need us to do an in-person class, which can range anywhere from $100 plus to $300 depending on what class you're taking. And then you have to take online classes, or you not really have to, but that's usually what happens. You'll take one in-person class, and then the other classes that you take, because you have to have a certain amount of hours to renew. Those other classes that you take online, you would have to pay $20, $30, $40, which is not a lot, but you see what I mean? It adds up. Like, you're spending thousands of dollars. So I did not expect to run into people who were unprofessional in the massage therapy industry. And whenever I worked with these people, they did not work well with me. They said things to me that were not okay. They purposely did things to me physically that were not okay. So when I went to the management about it, they did nothing. They basically told me it was up to me to handle the issue with the other staff. And I'm a non-combative person. I don't like being combative with people. So whenever I go to management or leadership, I look for it to be handled in a more professional way. We all sit down and kind of discuss what happened, and they set those expectations, and they remind all of the staff of their responsibilities of working there. And this particular company did not do that. They actually felt like it didn't work. It was ineffective. Kind of like it's a waste of time. Like, I no longer work there. To them, I quit. And to me, they let me go. So it was a complete misunderstanding. But instead of it being handled in a way of, hey, you are an asset, let's have a conversation, that didn't happen. And I'm forced to believe that they are expecting me to beg them for me to come back. Of course, of how I stopped working there, they started canceling all of my appointments. I called in for a shift before this happened, and they were trying to get me to keep coming in. and I could not come in. I intended on speaking to them about this very situation the next time I saw them, which was my next shift. And instead of them letting me do it, they just canceled all of my appointments. And I looked at that as them letting me go. So when I confronted them on it, I was like, looks like you're letting me go. I just want to thank you for the opportunity. They basically told me that I quit on them. This is my first time ever experiencing what feels like being laid off from a position. And this was the first job where that feeling of being let go came in, and the temptation for me to ask to stay came up, and I chose myself instead. The message that I have behind this video, it's a very uncomfortable feeling right now that I'm in, but I had to remind myself my reasons why. My reasons why was because I was demanding to work in a professional environment. And if I cannot work side by side with someone who has a professional way of thinking, I was expecting the managers to lay those foundational rules for everyone to be on the same accord when it comes to how they're supposed to be treating their clients, when it comes to how they're supposed to be treating their colleagues, when it comes to how they're supposed to be treating the management, when it comes to, workplace etiquette. And that was not being done there. And my encouragement for anybody out here who works in whatever profession, it does not matter what that profession is, whether it's massage therapist or, working at a hospital, or even if it's just working at a grocery store or working at a restaurant. If you really do care about your job and you have a passion in what you do, which you should, and you go to a place where that is lacking, they don't foster workplace etiquette. They don't encourage people to do their jobs the way that they expect them to. Like, there is no disciplinary actions or no effort being put in from upper management to make sure the morale and the culture of the establishment runs the way that they intend for it to, the way that they know they need to. Don't stay there. I understand that you need a job, but do not stay there. It will ruin you. It would break you. And no one will get any satisfaction out of that but them. So yeah, that's all I had today. It was really great talking to you guys, and I wish you all the best. I love you all. And until next time, talk to you later.